Well, today I want to talk about the separation of church and state. Our current administration, however you choose to vote, whether you're for it or against it, you would have to admit that the separation is being blurred, even more than it has in the past. Recently, as in yesterday or the day before, the White House and the administration decided to have a brunch, luncheon, get together, however you want to describe it, of basically to promote Christian nationalism, that we're a separation of church and that to blur, to get rid of the separation of church and state, to not so much that that they agree that the government should have their hands off of religion, but that religion shouldn't have its hands off the government. Now, if we're Christian, maybe that sounds okay. But what about me being Jewish? What about Muslim people? What about Hindu people? What about anybody else who's not a Christian? Are we just second-class citizens now? Do we just not belong in the same friendly narrative? What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to just sit back and watch how, our religions and the way we believe are being degraded? Now, we rail all the time against, terrorist groups, ISIS, Muslim fundamentalists. It's the biggest example that people can think of, and how the version of their religion is so skewed and it's woven in with the government that, anybody else who believes different is an infidel, needs to be put down, needs to be brainwashed, needs to be re-educated, needs to be talked to in a way that they're made that their beliefs don't mean anything. Is that where we're at? Because you could say that our country and our government is doing the same thing. Now, an easy example for me has always been, well, if we have separation of church and state in this country, then how come Christmas is a federal holiday? It's a religious holiday. Not everybody celebrates it. Why is our government closing our federal offices and our banks and everything? We were founded as a country with free beliefs, free exercise of free speech, and freedom of religion, and freedom from religion, if that's what we choose. Not only is it in the First Amendment, but it's the first part of the First Amendment. That's how important our framers and people who designed and wrote the Constitution, that's the reason they put it first, because they knew how important it was. Because if we're truly to be a free nation that respects everybody of all beliefs, no matter what God we pray to, no matter what gender we are, no matter who we love, no matter how we identify, if we're human, then we're equal. Period. If we have the right to live our life how we see fit, so does everyone else. Because if we ever come to a point where we believe that other people don't have the right, but we do, it proves that none of us do. We have to get this right. As the separation shrinks between church and state, does it even speak for what true religions are supposed to be there for? Because nobody is saying that religion should be done away with. There's a lot of politicians and leaders and community leaders, for that matter, have said in the past that, trying to just help people out. They've tried to help people out. They've used some religion. They've even opened faith offices, but they haven't done it in such a way that it makes other people feel less than. Why should one religion be promoted above another? If you believe that your religion should be respected and your beliefs, I agree. Only if you let me believe the same thing, that I have the right to my beliefs. And if they differ from yours, as long as we're able to respectfully discourse, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, at the heart of every religion is basically the same idea of love, respect, and kindness for others, right? And if that's true, then what are we so afraid of? Because in the end, it's not about religion. It's not about Jesus or how he treated others or watched out for the immigrants or the less than in society. It's not about how he didn't like the money changers and the religious hierarchies of the time. It's about power. It's about using religion to gain power. Whatever religion that is, these people would have done the same thing with any other excuse. They use it as an excuse to do terrible things that they would do anyway. So I just want to say, I love my life. I love the people in it. I love that we can all believe different things. But if we're ever to evolve and survive as a species on this planet as it gets warmer, we can't keep dividing ourselves over fake proclamations and false prophets. Authenticity. Maybe if the Christians in charge were more Christ-like than they are Christian, we wouldn't be in such a problem. I'm not downing anybody's religion. I'm just aching for authenticity. Well, if you like what you heard, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And some parting words. Just be kind to each other. We need to realize that we need to fight for, if we fight for any of us, we fight for all of us. To stand up for any of us means we stand up for all of us. We all have the right to believe what we want to believe and love who we want to love and identify how we want to identify. Religion has nothing to do with it. How we live our lives. If we choose to have religion guide us, that's wonderful. Great. That leads us towards the light. Then I would never stand in the way of that. We're all trying to get to the same basic place. But we can't proselytize somebody into believing something that we believe. Compromise doesn't mean somebody coming over to our way of thinking. Negotiation, respectfulness. These are things that we need to bring more into our conversation. We really do. So how do we stop this continued separation? Just be real. Because if we are honest with ourselves and look at the roots of our religions and our beliefs and why we believe the things we believe, we would never want it concerned with the government, because it has nothing to do with that. Government is secular, religion is religious. Nothing less, nothing more. It guides us towards the light, great. If somebody else finds the light and is guided towards the light through non-religion, or just somebody in the community, or the homeless person on the corner that may have gave them some kind words and allowed them to enlighten themselves, then that's all that matters. It's not how we get there. It's just that we get there. We can help each other reach the light, or we can stand in each other's way. It's up to us.